Hey guys, this is going to be a relatively short video. I'm going to talk to you about, welcome to Bunty's World, first of all, about the wrestling shows that I have been to and my memories. Remember this one. That's weird. Why do I not remember this one? This is, they're talking about their hotline back when 1-900 numbers were big. I don't remember. Oh, that's Slamboree. Duh. I'm like, what is this show? It's Slamboree. That's funny because I don't remember that match. The tag title match I remember because Roddy Piper came out, was the referee and whatever. It was the only time I ever saw him live. This is the World Wrestling Federation from February of 1995 at the Worcester Central. Diesel versus Jeff Jarrett. I remember Jarrett looking at my sign and reading it because I had made a sign, Simply Irresistible Jeff Jarrett, and he looked at it and he was like, because of where I live, I think he was absolutely dumbfounded that I knew his original, what he was originally. Yeah, Jeff, I'm only a few years younger than you and pretty much have watched you from the beginning of your career. I mean, there is this thing called cable. But yeah, that's what he was called. Was Simply Irresistible. And I think he was dumbfounded that I knew that, given, well, he probably thought I was too young too. I'm only about 5 years younger than you, Jeff. Maybe 7. Yeah, about 7 years. Also the fact that I live in, like I said, Massachusetts. So how the heck would I know what's going on in Memphis? I think it just surprised him, you know. So anyway, King Kong Bundy was awesome. Bret Hart was, remember I got to meet Bundy after that and told him about that night. He asked me if I was afraid of him that night or something like that. No. You could just tell when he walked by me to go to the ring that he was a big softy. You know, you could just tell, and he is a big softy. Bret Hart, although hugely popular, and I remember I reached out and I like got his elbow like that. I didn't like yank him or anything. I just, and and he just looked, and he just was not, hold on, dead battery. All right, I'm back, battery changed. As I was saying, Bret Hart was kind of out of it. He really did not seem at all that night for some reason. Smoking guns. Oh, I remember that so well because as they were walking around the ringside area, Billy Gunn stopped, took both of my hands in his hands, smiled at me, and just took a minute. And I was just, you know, and I'll never forget that. Sean, so funny. He was wrestling Adam Bomb, and and I kept yelling something about outquick him or something, and Sean finally, standing at ringside, put his hands on his hips and says, "I can't hear you," and looks right at me. I'm like, holy crap! He talked to me. Because at first he went, and I was trying, but I have such a soft voice, but I will never forget that. Oh my gosh, that's, oh well, finally that other one is almost edited. Sheesh, that takes a long time. Gosh, sorry. Because I'm so busy Wednesday, the Kid Missing video may end up going out on Thursday. Anyway, that's just a little side note. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome night. WrestleMania, March 29th, 1998. The Fleet Center in Boston. Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. The matches were actually really good. The dumpster rules match with Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie versus the New Age Outlaws. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. But what was interesting, I don't know why they changed his name, but it was Terry Funk. Everybody knew Chainsaw Charlie was Terry Funk. It was stupid to change his name. So yeah, and I got an autograph from Fabulous Moolah, which I've shown you. We were walking, we had to go up the escalator to the top floor, and we had to walk through a restaurant. And as we were walking through, I looked at Doug and I said, "Was that Moolah?" He said, "I don't know." And Mr. Yu said, "Well, why don't you two go back and find out?" So we went back and we're like, holy crap. It's the Fabulous Moolah. She talked with us. She signed autographs for us. She was stinking awesome. There was a lady with her. And looking back on it, I think it was Mae Young. But they didn't introduce, she didn't introduce her. These pictures here, by the way, I got from New Wave Wrestling. They're actual pictures that were taken by the magazine. They did these things where they did these like grab bags, and these pictures came from those. They are awesome. I got Bushwhacker Luke, I believe. And Bray Wyatt's daddy. Come on. So anyway, oh, and I have, that was funny too. One of the shows that I was at, Bob Backlund, when he was doing his Mr. Bob Backlund thing, was running around in the crowd up above us. And it was so funny. There he is. It was so stinking funny. These are old WCW main event cards, which I hear are valuable. Now, later on, they started doing their things like this, a list of names, because they didn't know who was going to be, you know. I went to a WCW show in '92. Where is that? Here it is. I actually would mark off who won. And I know I told you that on an earlier video, but and I wrote down they switched a match. What? Oh, weather. Okay, so it ended up being Mike Graham versus Ricky Morton. It was supposed to be Flying Brian defending the title, but the weather that night was horrendous. So they had to change some of the matches around a little bit. Card is always subject to change. And that's one of the reasons that they're always subject to change, because you never know. Boy, I can't read it. What? Dang it. Oh, weather stuck in Chicago. So I took his place. Okay. Yeah, a lot of them were stuck in Chicago because the weather was horrendous. We had a huge ice storm. And I remember talking to, over emails, talking to Gary Michael Capetta, who was actually our ring announcer that night. And I have his book, as I mentioned to you and told you stories from. What was I going to say? And in the email, I had told him about this show, and it was in the middle of an ice storm and everything. So I remember that weather was awful. I said, I'm so glad you made it out to the show at all. A lot of people didn't. My father was a little braver back then. Anyway, so this was the WCW Monday Nitro. That was my dream night. I do not remember who Chris Jericho ended up wrestling. Because like I said, they did a list instead of actually writing the matches, because I don't think they made the matches until that night. Okay, here we go. I went to one where, remember I showed you the picture of the hillbillies, the Godwins. Well, that night they wrestled Hunter Hearst Helmsley, now Triple H. Well, one of them did. Triple H got, they used to carry a bucket of slop, and they dumped it over his head. And I was giving him a hard time. I was like, oh, you smell so terrible. Because it did. It smelled awful. So he looked at me, put his hair down, flung his hair back, and I almost ate it. Oh, it was nasty. It's so funny, though. They threw it at him right in front of me. So I was lucky I didn't get a bath anyway. So, but it didn't bother me that he did that. So, but that was one of the nights. Duke the Dumpster Droese. Oh my goodness. Versus Henry Godwin. Bob Sparkplug Holly. And the 1, 2, 3 Kid. Faced the Heavenly Bodies with Jim Cornette. That's funny. But yeah, that was a wonderful night. They all were in their own way. And I'm so glad that I have these. Yeah, this is the Slamboree card, but it was not, this was not the card. I mean, Ric Flair took on Goldberg. Nowhere on here does it say that. I think the Bowery death match happened. DDP and Raven, if I'm not mistaken. But that's, it's been a long time, and I was going to be starting cancer treatment the following week, so yeah, my memory is shot. But excuse me. Goodness gracious. This is going to be our last video for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. Please click subscribe and click like if you like it. Wednesday, the only video you're probably gonna get is my uncle's presentation. That will be the vlog for Wednesday. So, look forward to that. I know I look forward to that. I finally cleaned up, even if I did get an injury. See other video. Anyway, God bless you, and bye-bye.